Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Wildcard. England versus Wales. Wow, this game was played with furious intensity, and it really showed the amount of animosity, the amount of rivalry they had going between the two nations. And man, this team, I could not believe how none of the players even look tired. The game went past the 80th minute and the players were still throwing absolute haymakers at each other. Nobody even looked like they were getting tired. It was just absolute insane game. This was unbelievable. For the Wales, this again, compared to the game they played against Ireland, this was just unbelievable performance improvement from the first week of the games. In fact, there were periods of this game, Wales, I have to be honest, was the best Welsh team I have ever seen. There was times where the Welsh attack had been just absolute sublime, beautiful to watch, smooth, patient, excellent handling. I can't believe this is Wales I'm watching. It's like watching the All Blacks. Just patient, really long phases, constant pressure with no error. Everyone knew what they were doing, and they were just really well managed. And man, there was a period where Wales was just pull back 2 tries against England. That was, I kid you not, I've watched Wales win Grand Slams, and I have never seen Wales play that good. That 20 minutes in the second half was just absolute the best I've ever seen from Wales ever. Honestly, I could not believe how good it was. And just so you know, this was basically Wales was put in a position in the second half where they were down 17 points to 0, and you could just feel the intensity, you could just feel the anger, the frustration starting to build in the Welsh side, and they just really took that and kicked it into another gear. And it was just unbelievable. And with that intensity, Wales was able to put on 2 beautiful tries against England. Entire Twickenham went silent because of this. I kid you not, for the first time in my life, ever, I was cheering for Wales. Okay, I have never been so entertained by Wales playing rugby. Okay, this was absolutely amazing. And Wayne Pivac, you did a great job setting up this Welsh attack. That was just beautiful to watch. In the end, unfortunately, Wales was so close, but yeah, just little things eventually cost them the game. Really unfortunate. The lineouts really hurt the Wales. They literally gave England a free try because of a lineout. Could have been 2 free tries. The referee called back one of them. Don Brunt. What is his name? Don Brunt. Is that his name? Basically got a freebie, and then he almost had another one earlier in the game as well. And also the scrums, the England scrums was able to secure a number of penalties, turning kind of the momentum, stifling the momentum of the Welsh attack quite a bit as well. And also way too many penalties conceded early in the game, allowing England to pull away with those early penalties. And yeah, there were a few calls from the referee that was a bit bad against Wales, I have to say. I have to be honest, and there was a number of penalties where England received in the breakdowns where clearly the English player was on the ground, not supporting their own body weight, and they were still giving the penalty. But yeah, what can I say? It happens to the referee. Unfortunately, Wales was in the receiving end of that quite a number of times this game as well. For the England side, they look really comfortable for the first 40 minutes of the game, just absolutely in control. There was a clear strategy that England had. They want to test the attack and then test the kicking behind. So there was quite a bit of poking. Marcus Smith was really good on his feet. He was able to do a lot of shuffling and make little really quick line breaks and setting up a number of really good England runs, breaking through the Welsh defense. But maybe at times England kicked a bit too maturely. I thought if England just had attacked, bit more patience, would probably yield a better result. in overall in the game. The Wales also had a good kicking game, was able to ping England back behind their own try line a number of times, but the England strategy was really like probably done that a bit better than the Welsh in terms of pinning the Welsh side inside their own half when they did get the opportunity. It was really obvious that they wanted to just test. The instruction is to test the defense, maybe 4 or 5 phases, and then grab a kick behind and try to find a try and force a defensive line out for the Welsh side inside their own 22. And then also when Wales kicked into the game in the second half, England, I thought maybe just let Wales kind of take it, but no, England fought back as well. This was really good to see. England also kicked in the gear. They were looking too comfortable, and then England pushed themselves out of the comfort zone, really start belting each other. The players with hard running was just a spectacular rugby to watch. And then also the Freddie Stewart for England is absolute freak. I don't know what else to say. He's so good under the high ball, and he's just absolute dominance in the air. Like, there's no one can even touch him. And then when he gets the ball, he's like, kicking was insane as well. There was one time he gets the ball like 5 meters out from his own try line, inside the 5-meter sideline. So he was literally 5 meters out from his own try line and 5 meters from the sideline. So in the tiny little corner of the field, he punted the ball back, with nothing to work with, straight back, and the ball ended up inside the Wales 22 without going out of the sideline. This was just unbelievable kick from Freddie Stewart, just an absolute freak of a performer. And this was a good game. This was really lived up to the hype. And the home crowd definitely gave England that little bit of advantage. I have to say, the sweet home, sweet chariot was ringing around the stadium, was really probably helped England get over the line in the end. Really, really spectacular game to watch. Overall, what can I say? The match stats: 3 tries for Wales, the England won. England was able to pull ahead with a lot of penalties. 420 run meters to 400 to England. So England was able to come back with a lot more run meters after Wales started putting on their own run meters as well. And 12 turnovers conceded for both teams. Quite even defense. 159 to 176 tackles. 18 to 17 meters tackles, so pretty even there as well. Kicking game, England definitely more than happy to kick the game a bit more. 23 kicks out of England, only 19 for Wales side. And then the lineouts, Wales 13 lineouts lost, probably a bit more than that. There was a few lineouts where it was a bit rusty. Literally gave away a try, was not good. The English lineout was being disrupted a bit as well. One scrum loss for England, but I'm pretty sure England had a scrum dominance over Wales when they did have the ball. They were able to squeeze out quite a couple of penalties to stifle the Welsh attack, to get the English out of trouble. Penalties considered, 13 apiece. 1 yellow card for Lim Williams. A little bit of stupidity. He was in the ruck, 5 meters out, not even 5 meters, like a meter out from his own try line. Slaps the ball off the halfback's hand as he's trying to get the ball out. He immediately realized the mistake. He tries to pretend that someone hurt him in the head. He puts his hand quickly to his own head, pretending that he got hit. I was hurt. It was an accident, but no, the referee didn't buy that. Yellow card. Yeah. So just to clarify a bit as well. So there was a deliberate knock on, and I think maybe there's a bit of as Australian guy who's been in the receiving end of deliberate knock-on penalties, yellow cards. I actually looked into this. So there was a few deliberate knock-ons. The referee just gave it a penalty and didn't give it a card. There is actually a specific condition that needs to be met for a yellow card to be given in a deliberate knock-on, which is it has to be in a situation where the opposition could score. So if the deliberate knock-on occurs in the middle of the field, it's not likely you're going to get a yellow card unless there's a clear overlap that a try could be scored. But if it's inside your own 22, the yellow card is very likely, as it's considered a position where a try could be scored. A yellow card would have been issued in that situation. So that is a special condition that has to be met for a yellow card. It's not just every time there's a deliberate knock-on, it's a yellow card. There's a very specific condition that has to be met. Otherwise, it's just a straight-up penalty. That is the rule that I looked up following. Anyway, if you're Welsh, you know what I'm talking about. And so overall, let's have a quickly go through the game, go through some of the key points of the game. So England came out of the game just really able to control the game at the start, and Wales visibly looked frustrated right away. Dan Biggar was yelling at everyone, was yelling at the referee. Sometimes I do feel sorry for Mike Adamson. Like, as literally this is the second game he's ever refereed in the Six Nations. He's copped a lot of back chat from the players, and he's still managed the game as well as he could. I actually thought he did really well. There was clearly a lot of disrespect towards the referee as well. There was one point where the ball accidentally was passed and hit the referee, but Adamson didn't feel like the interruption really caused that much of an issue, so he allowed the game to play on. And then like 2 phases later or a phase later, Mike was like, okay, let's go back to the scrum because the ball touched me. And Dan Biggar was visibly angry, runs up to the referee and goes, you should have stopped the game right away. That's just a waste of energy right there. And he just like literally screaming straight at him. And you can hear it on his like microphone. And Mike is just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really rough. Like the way Biggar just like ran up to him and started yelling at him. And you can hear it in the microphone in the live broadcast. That's when I kind of felt like, I started to get a bit of respect for this guy for taking all this abuse from players and still managed his cool, not just still managed the game. Small mistakes here and there, like I said, in the breakdowns, but overall, much better than his performance for the Wallabies game against Wales last year. Anyway, so England was able to get away with 2 early penalties. Wales looked visibly frustrated. Dan Biggar was yelling at people. 20 minutes in, England was putting a lot of pressure, like firmly control. It looked like England crashed over, but no, he was like millimeters short. And while this was happening, Liam Williams snuck his hand out, slashed the ball off the halfback, Thomas Williams, I think his name is, and then gets yellow carded off. So for 10 minutes, England could have had a 1-play advantage, and Wales managed to get him so well. You could feel it, like Tien Bashing was playing out of his mind, stripping the ball off Don Brand, and Wales was just managed 10 minutes without giving it a single point. Only on the, literally as soon as the 10 minutes ran out, before Liam Williams could be put onto the field, England finally gets a penalty, and Marcus Smith gets the 3 points, and kind of like said, evened out the lack of points scored in the 10 minutes while England had a 1-player advantage. So England, after 30 minutes, leads Wales 9 points to 0. Should have been more than that. I felt like England should have scored a try there, somewhere in there, because you are playing with 1 player extra. And then after the Liam Williams came back, Wales actually played better rugby from there going forwards. Just really good attacking, really good running, a lot of mixed attack options, really kept everything guessing. And then England, Freddie Stewart stepped up, diffused a lot of those kicking from Wales, really diffused a lot of issues for Wales. Henry Slade kicked a beautiful 50-22 for England. And for England. And then he literally kicked the ball from inside his 10-meter mark, which is 40 meters out from his own try line, into the Wales 5-meter line. So England had a 5-meter attacking line out. Wales were able to sack this line out brilliantly. Sack this more essentially brilliantly and hold on to the try. This was brilliantly executed for Wales to stop this try from happening. And then eventually, in the last 5 minutes of the game, England was pounding Wales again. Wales is in the back foot. I think Ross Moriarty did this on purpose. He puts himself on the wrong side of the ruck, tries to pretend that it's getting out, but it's not really getting out. England gets a penalty, and England was more than happy to take 3 points going to halftime. 12 points to 0. Yeah, so Wales had to make 91 tackles at halftime, and England only had to make 50. And England was 239 run meters to Wales 173. So England was very easily in control in the first half. And then second half starts, Wales just really came out and kicked into gear. Not right away. Anyway, Wales came out looking frustrated. So England once again, very obviously with that kicking behind, try to ping Wales down in their own 22, force them to do a defensive line out. And sure enough, the first time they did it in the second half, it pays off. There was some miscommunication with the Welsh team. The Welsh hooker throws the ball. Nobody jumping the Welsh side. Ball goes over. Don Brun, right at the end, catches the ball. And this was like 5 meters out from the Welsh try line. Catches the ball, struts in. He gets tackled just short. Dunks the ball over the line like he's playing basketball. He's pretty tall. He probably can play basketball. And gets the try for for England. Suddenly, England's up 17 points to 0. And this is not the first time this happened. Earlier in the first half, Wales also did this again. It was one of Wales looking like everybody was like talking and nobody's paying attention. And then he tried to throw a ball. The Wales hooker throws the ball. Try to I'm not sure what's going on. Again, it's like a misjudged time. It looked like no one was paying attention to the Welsh team. But the hooker obviously had some sort of communication. Throws the ball. Nobody jumped. The ball went straight through. Don Brun catches the ball at the end. And then he starts running. And the referee blows the whistle. And the referee's like, yeah, the line-out's not set. And then England's like, that's Wales' throw. It's not like our throw. So this is a mistake there by the referee. So this should have played on because it's not England's throw. England stole the ball there. So Wales got it off the hook there. But the second one, they didn't get the hook this time. And this time, they actually gifted England a try. So this was, pretty bad. Happened twice in the game. You figure that after the first time, you would have worked this out. But it happened again. And this time actually cost Wales a try there. After this, Wales was just clearly seeing a lot of anger from this. Everybody's frustrated, and this is just a huge surge of energy from the Welsh team. And for the next 20 minutes or so, this was like the best Welsh attack I have ever seen. England was able to get out of jail a couple times. Wales probably could have scored a bit more points. England was able to get out of jail with a few, I thought, breakdown calls I thought went wrong. Like Don Brun had a breakdown penalty given to him despite having one of his knees on the ground. He told you he got a penalty given to him when he was literally all falling on the wrong side of the rock. But anyway, finally on the 53rd minute, Wales was able to build on that pressure, build on that platform they've been doing so well. Tomo Williams throws a pinpoint accurate pass to the winger, Josh Adams, who found himself in the gap, pounds himself through the gap, scores a try. And it was just beautiful, beautiful execution to finally get that first point on the ball for Wales. Bigger missed the kick, 17 points to 5. But he can feel the intensity kicked up a notch, and he can feel the rivalry between the two nations really starting to show at this point. Wales really come out to play, and they start, again, England start giving out repeated penalties because of the Welsh pressure, and Wales didn't opt for the penalties, which they could have taken it. Wanted to build on the momentum, kicks the ball off a 5-meter line out. Wales pounded the English defense repeatedly with furious intensity. Eventually, Tompkins gets the ball, pounded himself through a gap, gets the ball down, slams the ball down for a try. This was an easier kick for bigger, 17 points to 12. Suddenly, this was 20 minutes to go. Wales got themselves back in the game, right? And this period was literally the best Welsh play I have ever seen. And then eventually after this, you figure, I don't know, if England's going to come back into the game. And yes, they did. So England was able to build themselves back into the game with a few penalties, with the scrums. Eventually, England was able to get a penalty. This is like a huge long period of play of about 6 minutes between the 60th and 66th minute. Like both teams just running each other. There was no infringements and just like splime, like rugby, attacking a rugby. No one was making any mistakes. Eventually, England finds himself a penalty, and he was just like, oh. And then it was kickable range. It was a difficult kick, 40 meters out from a bit of an angle. Marcus Smith slots this one. 20 points to 12. England gets ahead. A few minutes later, once again, Wales gets penalised in an England line-out. England was throwing an attacking line-out, and Wales just had a hand in it, disrupted basically grabbed the hand of the England jumper. A penalty. So England now gets another shot at the goal. Marcus slots this one again. 23 points to 12. Suddenly the gap opened up once again. And Wales is in the back end of receiving thing. And this is where Swing Low, Sweet Chariot was ringing around the stadium. And maybe that has something to do with it. But England definitely claw back a bit with, regain the control of the game quite a bit at this point. And then Wales really, had about 5 minutes left in the game, looking like they need 2 tries to win, not completely out. Wales, look determined, gets a few penalties, kicks the ball out into England half, start building those faces, and then just like they did earlier in the second half, just repeated pounding, really smooth, really quick balls. It was looking like they're going to run out of time, but the England gave away another penalty. The Welsh guy, what's his name? I didn't even get his name. Hardy takes I think he's fresh, just came on the field, takes a quick tap. England was caught off guard, runs in for a try, and then Bigger was furious, screaming at him because he just left the ball on the ground after his score, and there was 30 seconds left on the clock. And Bigger was furious, screaming at everybody, "Give me the ball! Give me the ball!" He runs in, rips the ball out from the England side, goes back out, takes a quick kick, and then with about 5 seconds left on the clock, Wales had one more chance at scoring, at receiving the kickoff, right? So Wales receives the kickoff and just start running the ball out. The England defense was super good, just not letting any chance for Wales going forward. Wales was just playing. 3 minutes later, finally look like it was a knock on. Referee has to look at TMO. Courtney Laws had his hand out as one of the Welsh pass was going through, and he just scraped his thumb. The ball didn't even change direction or anything, just literally tapped his thumb, and then one of the Welsh receiver drops the ball. Referee goes penalty. People were saying that this should have been a yellow card, but this was halfway, inside the Welsh half. There's no way this would be a yellow card. Like I was saying before, it needs to be a place where a try could have been scored. So this was too far of a stretch for a yellow card. Wales gets one more chance at it, kicks the ball out inside the English 22. And eventually, Mauro Itoje gets into one of the breakdowns. He rips the ball out with that solid, triangle pose over the ball. This time he did it legally. Unfortunately, I had a look. This looked legal to me. He was on his feet. He didn't touch the ground. His hands didn't touch the ground. He went straight over the ball. This was a bit tough, but he rips the ball over, turns the ball over. England kicks the ball out. What's his name? Ben Youngs becomes the most capped player ever for England. Kicks the ball out, coming off the bench. And 23 points to 19. What a game. What a finish. Woo, this was good. Let me know your thoughts of this game in the comments down below, guys. Really appreciate you watching this video. And Six Nations, England versus Wales. Whew, this was good. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.